What's up, Rams fans? Welcome back to Rams Showcase. Tonight, the LA Rams show up big in Week 1. Plus, the NFC West gets the sweep. And later, the Rams' first road test of the 2021 season. We preview Rams at Colts. Next on Rams Showcase.
Welcome to Rams Showcase on Sports 4 Radio.
What's going on, Rams fans, and welcome back to Rams Showcase. I am your host, Joe Branham, but you can and should call me Sheriff Joe Beggs. I am laying down the law for you guys tonight. We got a bunch of cool stuff to get into. The LA Rams start the season 1-0, and we'll be taking on the 0-1 Colts this Sunday. And that should be a good one. We'll preview it all, though, a little bit later on. The game previews are always brought to you by BetUS. If you guys are looking for a sports book, promo code RamsShowcase, 125% bonus. Link is in the description no matter where you can hear me. I'm doing it. It's pretty fun. Rams by 4.5. I think you should take it. That's just my own opinion. I'm not giving you professional advice here. I'll just tell you what I'm doing. I'm about to definitely hop on that one for sure. We also got to talk about this game from last week, and then we got the rest of the West as well. And then we actually got a decent chunk of fan quesos. I would like to get to all of them. I will be watching time, but I do want to get at least the good chunk of those ones in, because I do have some really, really strong fan quesos this week. So if you guys did drop those, I do appreciate it. If you guys do have fan quesos for me, make sure you guys are watching out for my post. I've been posting on Facebook as well as the YouTube channel as a post, where you can leave a queso, a question for myself about the Rams in their previous week, about something coming up, anything like that. I don't do fantasy advice. My only advice on your fantasy team is follow your heart, okay? Because I don't care about the individual performances. I just want to see the Rams stack some dubs. And so far, one block has been stacked in the dub column, which is what I'm all about here. So just one little quick piece of news here that I wanted to get into before we talk about last week's game, the Rams and Bears on Sunday Night Football. I want to talk about this one because I'll be honest with you guys, it surprised me. All right, so I watch a lot of different sports content. If I'm not watching the NFL games, I'm watching NFL content. I'm watching the Pat McAfee Show, Colin Cowherd, Dan Patrick, Rich Eisen. I'm watching these guys, all right? It's pretty normal for me. Throughout my day, my work day, I'm listening to these guys a lot too, and I like to just soak in NFL content. I try to keep up with the whole league, not just the LA Rams. Of course, the Rams more specifically, but I was able to catch a clip from Colin Cowherd this weekend. He does his herd hierarchy, which is always something I'm interested in. He always gives reasoning of why he puts teams in different places, and that's really the only reason I put any kind of attention into that at all, because most power rankings, anything like that, typically what you'll see is just placements, and if this team won, then they move up. If this team lost, they move down. Whatever. He gives reasonings behind why the movements are there, what he saw in the game, why teams are ahead of different teams, all that stuff. So I do I like to pay attention to that, all right? I don't take it as absolute gold, but I mean, he did put the LA Rams as his number one team in the NFL exiting week 1. And the reason I was surprised by that is because, I think the Rams played one heck of a game against the Chicago Bears. They showed very little weaknesses in that game. And Matthew Stafford looked amazing. But there was some really good teams out there this week as well. You know what I mean? So I was a little bit surprised to see it. But I guess at the same time, you could say Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they won a very close game. They had to fight with the Cowboys to win that game by 2. And then the Chiefs also, they barely won against the Cleveland Browns, who are also a really good team. But all 4 NFC West teams were in that herd hierarchy. He just does the top 10. And I just thought that was pretty sweet. I thought that was pretty sweet that he put him number 1. I don't know if I've ever seen him put the Rams number 1. Maybe in 2018, they spent some time as the number 1 seed on there, but I just thought that was kind of cool. I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you guys want to check out his video, it is available on the YouTube, as my father would say. So let's go ahead and real fast before we talk about this game as well, we'll talk about our giveaway. We did do a giveaway last week. All I needed from you guys was you to answer the simple question, who do you think is going to score the first touchdown for the LA Rams in the 2021 season? It happened to be Van Jefferson. Not a single person picked Van Jefferson, but that's okay, because there was no wrong answers, because opinions are inherently not wrong. You cannot be wrong in your opinion, technically, because it's your opinion. It is true to you. So everybody, there was a lot of different answers. None said Van Jefferson, at least none that I saw picked Van Jefferson, and none that I paid attention to said Van Jefferson. But we did get some entries for our giveaway, and we also did get a winner for last week's giveaway, and that was John, and his information has been forwarded out to Shaw's Customs. Oh, I forgot it again. It's Shaw's Customs. And so that prize pack is already being sent out, and then we got a new one for this week. We'll get my Ram head hat over here and do our quick giveaway before we get into some news. So, real simple. It's to enter these giveaways, it's extremely simple. All you need to do is comment and answer whatever question I may have. And it could be any question. And you can give any answer, really. Actually, one of these answers wasn't even a Rams player, but I allowed it. Because we ended last week's show talking about some heavy metal. And so that would kind of related to that, so I was here for it. And I added the name. It is in this hat right here, this Ram head hat with all the names from last week. So we'll get this one. Let me think about, as I'm doing this, what we could possibly do for another giveaway. Let me just think about it. I just got to think. Just need some time here. But this week's winner of the Shaw's Customs giveaway. Let's take a look here. Take a look. I'm not looking. All right. This one here. The YouTube channel Rams Superfan. You are the winner of this week's giveaway, and you will be added to our winner stack that we have accumulating over here. And all I need from you, Rams Superfan, I need you to send me a message with an address to get this prize pack from Shaw's Custom sent out to you. I need that by Sunday. We'll say by the end of the Rams game. So it should be around, what is that, like 1-ish Ram time in LA out in Pacific time. So you should be able to get that by then. If you guys haven't watched me by the end of the Rams game, then you're missing out, first of all, because this is a whole game preview for that game. So if you're watching me after the fact, you're missing some good information that you could, load into your brain tank before the game starts, which would be the most ideal process. So if you catch this beforehand, I need you to send me that message by the end of the Rams game on Sunday. Rams Superfan, and we'll get that prize pack sent out to you, courtesy of Shaw's Customs. So make sure you do that, and we'll get that bad boy sent out to you. Good stuff. Congratulations to the Rams Superfan. And, it's a YouTube channel, guys, and I'm sure there's some pretty sick content on there. So if you guys are not already, shoot over there and subscribe. Hit a sub, hit some likes and stuff like that, and just share the love. Let's go ahead and talk about this last week's game, week 1 of the 2021 NFL season, where the Rams were able to walk away 1-0 and actually kind of handled business a little bit against the Chicago Bears, which was really good to see because, there was a lot of hype going into this year, and it almost seemed like the hype was being negated by some fans. Like some fans were just trying to cut through that hype and just be like, no, we don't know who Stafford is. Stafford never won a playoff game. And then Stafford comes in, and granted, he did not yet win a playoff game, but he played pretty dang good football, all right? So, and there's times where, I'm not going to sit here and just take the opportunity to just rail on Jared Goff or anything like that. That's not what I'm about here. But there were definitely times where it felt like that if that was Jared Goff, it would have been a sack, would have been maybe a fumble, something like that. And you could just feel, and this is something that I talked about all offseason. I talked about this, that the Rams fans would be able to feel a difference at the quarterback position. And I think that was very real. I said that we would be able to feel it in week 1. The rest of the NFL would feel it a little bit later. Turns out a lot of the rest of the NFL was like, yo, that Matthew Stafford kid, he's pretty good football, all right? He's pretty good at this game. And, kid, he's 3 years older than I am, so I guess I can't call him a kid. I mean no disrespect when I say kid, by the way, ever. I know I got some comments on that before. I never mean any disrespect to that. But Matthew Stafford comes in, and he plays some pretty good football. I also want to take a little bit of credit here because I had my score prediction. I locked it in at 34-13. Final score of the real game, 34-14. So I only discredited the Bears just a skosh, just a touch undersold the Bears, and they were able to put up 14 points. So I did not win a jersey. Pretty sad about it, but hey, it's all good because the Rams still walked away with a big fat W. And you know what? because this season is an exciting one. We feel really good going into the 2021 season. We are bringing back the game badge. Bring up the screen for you YouTube viewers. For you audio listeners, just picture a picture of Matthew Stafford in front of a sheriff badge, because we are giving back game badges. We are bringing it back. In week 1, I don't think there's any argument here. Game badge belongs to quarterback Matthew Stafford. In his first game as an LA Ram, put up 321 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He did not turn the ball over at all. Had that 1 sack, and it kind of looked like on that 1 sack, he could have dumped it off to Hendo. I know that that's like something I'm sure a lot of us saw. That's like, Henderson's right there, man. Just dump it, dump it, dump it. He also had Kupp running deep, and it was like almost open right when he was getting sacked. So I think he wanted to hit that deep ball, but so he avoided the check down in hopes that he could maybe get that deep ball out there. But it ended up in a sack. So that's like the one play on Stafford that I was like, okay, he probably should have just taken it. Like he made the wrong decision. Just take the check down at that point. Pressure was coming, but I'm not going to try to discredit this guy's game at all, because he had a career high in yards per attempt at 12.3, which is amazing, by the way. Some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL usually end the season about 9, pushing 10 maybe. That's a very strong number. He also had a career high in quarterback rating with 156.1, the highest passer rating of his NFL career. He was drafted number 1 overall in the 2009 draft. So it's been quite a while. He comes into the Rams, and week 1, he's just kicking butt cheeks, all right? He played out of his mind. He played just great. And like I said, he just felt different. Like it feels, you could feel his experience out there. You could feel that he just had a better command of the offense. You could feel that he felt the pressure. He felt when his guys were going to be open. He just made some great plays. He knows when to back up. He knows when to step up in the pocket. He knows when to roll out. That deep pass, the first touchdown pass of his Rams career to Van Jefferson, he did a left rollout, which is something I think we saw. We could probably count single-digit times where we saw that in Detroit when he was with the Lions. So, I mean, it's opening up a lot of things. And this is basically me explaining again that the Matthew Stafford that we saw in Detroit is not the Matthew Stafford we will see in Los Angeles. And I think that we've already seen some evidence of that. So Matthew Stafford, he is the recipient of the first game badge of the season from Rams Showcase here, and Sheriff Joe Baggs gets the game badge. But also, not only that, he also wins NFC Offensive Player of the Week for his 20 completions on his 26 attempts. Absolutely amazing. And I'll be honest with you guys, I know there's a lot of people out there that were on the side of Stafford being like, I don't know, guys. He never did this. He never did this. He never, like, whatever. I mean, have opinions, whatever you want to have your opinions on. It doesn't matter to me. You're allowed to have your opinions. I'm not here to tell you you're wrong for having opinions. All I'm here to say is that why did all of those people disappear so fast? They're all gone, man. Where did you go? Where did all those people go that were saying that Matthew Stafford sucks? He's got to prove this. He's got to prove this to you. Who the heck are you? He needs to prove it to, though. I don't understand that mindset. What a ridiculous mindset to have, where it's like, no, Matthew Stafford needs to prove it to me, because I can't eat these Doritos and sit on this couch watching this game without knowing that he's gonna get it done. I don't get it. But either way, all those people disappeared, or they're saying it was one game, LOL. I mean, is that what's just going to continue to happen? It was one season. If he wins MVP, it was one season. It was 5 seasons. He only won 3 Super Bowls. I mean, Tom Brady's got whatever. Is that what it's going to be? Or can we just accept that Matthew Stafford looks a lot better in this Rams offense than he ever did in Detroit? That's all. Moving on here, let's go to Justin Hollins, who I was kind of talking about last week a little bit here and there. I kind of sprinkled him in there, peppered in his name into the podcast for the last couple of weeks, because I loved that the coaching staff was so high on Justin Hollins. And you know what? He had an absolutely awesome day. Had 6 solo tackles, 2 assisted tackles, had 2 sacks, and a forced fumble, which, I mean, he was all over the place, man. Justin Hollins was playing great. Seemed like almost at the end of every single play, he was right up in there. He was just out there, man. That was really cool to see. I think Justin Hollins, he was also, he was creating space without, obviously we know that having Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd on the rush as well helps you out a lot. But it also, he was winning his one-on-ones. So I think this is a guy to watch this year. This could actually be like the Rams' breakout star for this defense, because we already know the superstars. We know Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald are going to come in here and crush some souls. We already know that. But Justin Hollins, he might be one of those guys where it's like, oh, we did not know that he was going to be that good. If he can keep this up and keep getting better, Justin Hollins is going to be a name that all Rams fans know. Most of us already know it, but if you guys are newish or whatever, first of all, welcome. And also, Justin Hollins, he's pretty good at football. Start telling your friends about him, all right? And David Long, he shows up pretty good too. David Long Jr., number 22 at cornerback. He did go out with a cramp, but he looks to be fine. Everything's good to go there. But he had his first career interception, and that was that one tipped by, I believe it was Kenny Young that tipped that ball, and then he picked it off in the end zone, and that was perfect timing because it was like the game started, and the return was good, and then they had a good run, and it's like, oh, man, what has happened? Like, did we know the game started, defense? Come on. And then we get that interception from David Long, his first career pick. I do see some more coming, and I also, I feel like some of the Rams media outlets have been a little bit harsh on David Long, saying like now, because of that games, like now he can step in for Troy Hill. First of all, you know what? Maybe I think everybody's overreacting to the Troy Hill loss a little bit. Troy Hill's a good football player. Troy Hill's a very good football player, and he did a lot of good things for the LA Rams. But let's not pretend like Troy Hill's not a replaceable character in this defense, all right? John Johnson, that's a much more difficult person to replace, but it looks like Jordan Fuller can be that guy. I don't think he's there at that level quite yet, but I think he can develop into that. And really our biggest loss is Aubrey Pleasant and Joe Barry, as well as Brandon Staley, but it looks like Raheem Morris is doing a heck of a job out there, so I'm not worried about that one at all. But Aubrey Pleasant, coaching some DBs, and Joe Barry for the linebacker coach. Obviously, he did not do that good of a job stopping Jameis Winston out for Green Bay. He's now their defensive coordinator, but I do anticipate him getting better. But I heard some comments about that of like, oh, now because of his game, David Long, he might be able to come in now for Troy Hill. That might be his replacement. What do you mean? It's been his replacement this entire time. David Long was just in line to be that guy. So I think he's now just showing kind of what he can do, and I'm here for it, man. David Long, time to start supporting this guy, right? Tyler Higbee on the offensive side at tight end played 100% of the Rams' offensive snaps, and that, honestly, from a tight end, that's bananas to me, all right? I did not expect that. It's one of those things you just kept seeing 89, 89, 89, 89, and I kind of thought back to it, and it's like, yeah, he played all the game, like all the snaps. After I always check out the snap counts after the game, and when I saw 100% next to him, it was like, oh, okay. So I mean, I guess that's my only fantasy advice for you guys. If you don't have Tyler Higbee, maybe try to get him because he plays a lot. I mean, he did have, what was it, 5 catches, 68 yards. So he didn't like destroy the stat sheet or anything like that, but he played a damn good game. All right, so Tyler Higbee, 100% of the Rams' offensive snaps. That's absolutely awesome, and I love it. I love to see it for sure. And David Montgomery for the Chicago Bears, he had 108 rushing yards, which is the most rushing yards by a single person the Rams have given up in quite a while. But that also, it makes sense. I mean, the Rams were running a very light box, and I don't know exactly what the mindset was there, because David Montgomery is obviously a far more a dangerous weapon than quarterback Andy Dalton. So I don't know if the Rams are like, if we're going to lose this game, it's not going to be because of Dalton. Like, it's going to be because Montgomery. Or if they just kind of knew that, like, hey, Montgomery, we're going to give him some space. We're going to let him kind of go. But once that red zone hits, we're bowing up and we're not going to let him go anywhere. And that's kind of, it really felt like that was the Rams, the bend but don't break. We saw that comment a lot this week. But, I don't think that that's like a bad strategy. Of course, there are some teams that are going to be a little bit more difficult to do that with. The Tampa Bay that's coming up in week 3. Later on with teams like Baltimore, if you leave that much space for Lamar Jackson, that's going to be tough to recover from. So, I mean, with this game, though, I think it's going to be one of those situations where we kind of will see different personalities for the entire scheme of the Rams defense as the season goes on. So this one, I mean, it was a very umbrella defense. Do not let them get behind you. Get everything underneath you. Just come up and make the tackle. We saw some very good tackling in this game from a lot of different players. A lot of players that I haven't necessarily been high on, but we've seen some disruption there. We also did see some missed tackles, but the limited training camps and all the limited practices in the offseason, and then none of our starters playing in the preseason games, then it does take sometimes just a little bit to get them a little bit under their legs under them a little bit. We even saw missed tackles from Donald, and that's extremely rare. So if Aaron Donald's missing tackles, we cannot go after somebody like Taylor Rapp for missing a tackle if Aaron Donald's doing it too. We can't just single them out. So they all need to be able to tackle, and no matter what your name is on the back of your jersey, you need to make those tackles. But Montgomery, he did a pretty good job, but and it makes me sound like a jerk, but it's almost like with the Rams running like 5-man boxes, it's almost like we let them do it. We were like, all right, Montgomery, you're going to go ahead and you're going to have your game, but Dalton is not going to beat us, and we're going to put up way more points than you guys. So good luck trying to pass on this umbrella defense when you have no idea where the heck Jalen Ramsey's going to be at, by the way. And Aaron Donald's all over the place as well. And your top 2 left tackles go down at some point. So yeah, I mean, we kind of just let them do it. And I know I'm going to sound like a jerk for that. And Bears fans are of course going to be like, oh, excuses or whatever. Well, first of all, you guys lost by 20. So let's not say that. And yeah, I think that David Montgomery, I mean, obviously did a heck of a job. Let's go ahead and get into the rest of the West. Of course, the LA Rams defeated the Chicago Bears 34-14. The Seattle Seahawks were playing at the Indianapolis Colts, who the Rams' opponents will be in the same place this week. The Seahawks won that game 28-16. And this week, the Seahawks will be taking on the Tennessee Titans. That game will be played in Seattle at 1:25 p.m. on CBS. So, the Arizona Cardinals did a great job against the Tennessee Titans last week, and as I'm interested to see what this Seahawks defense can do to Derrick Henry. Is Derrick Henry is he still just knocking some rust off? Is Ryan Tannehill Tannehill, is he not as good as we thought he was? Are they who we thought they were? You know what I mean? But I thought Tennessee was a really good team, but also hearing of the turnover that they have at the starting spots, that's a lot of players that they had. I want to say it was like 16. It was a lot of players that they have new starters at different positions, so it might just take them a minute to get going. And then the San Francisco 49ers defeated the Detroit Lions. That was 41-33. The game was the scoreboard is a lot closer than the game actually was. If you guys watched it, I know that some Rams fans had some rooting interest in it because of players like Jared Goff, and then with Aubrey Pleasant on the coaching staff, and Michael Brocker's there as well. And then you got Brad Holmes up as their GM now, so it's there's some Rams ties there for sure. Obviously, I mean, it was pretty heavy off-season storylines with the Lions and Rams connections throughout this offseason. But, it was an 8-point game, but I'll be honest, 16 of those points were given to the Lions by the 49ers at the end there. So the Lions, I liked what we saw from Jared Goff. He didn't quit, but I also don't think a Dan Campbell team is going to quit like that. And I think that the 49ers, about 6-7 minutes to go, they quit. They were like, oh, we won. Like, we're beating the crap out of these guys, and we're going to win this game. And then they let up, and then it became a close one-possession game. But I think that the score is not indicative of how that game was actually played. I think the 49ers beat up on the Lions and then just kind of gave up at the end. I don't anticipate that happening this week. They play at the Philadelphia Eagles. That game's going to be played at 10 a.m. on Fox, so same time slot as the Rams, so I don't anticipate you guys watching that one. But the Philadelphia Eagles, they were able to take it to the Atlanta Falcons last week. Jalen Hurts looked really good. I'm just still not convinced. I am not convinced. I think that Atlanta's not a very good team, so I don't think that looking at the win for the Philadelphia Eagles is too big of a deal, I guess. And Jalen Hurts definitely did look good. I was surprised at how Jalen Hurts looked, but I'm not sold on Sirianni. I don't think he's a good coach. We'll see, I guess. I'm ready to be wrong, and that's fine with me. I'm okay with being wrong. I just see no fire in that guy. I don't get it. I don't get the Sirianni anything. All right, so I don't know. We'll see what happens, but the San Francisco 49ers, I think they kind of beat up on Philadelphia this week. You guys can feel free to let me know your predictions as well. And then, of course, like we said, the Arizona Cardinals did defeat the Tennessee Titans. That game was 38-13. I didn't see that one coming, but also I will say that I think Arizona might be a little bit better than I was giving them credit for heading into the season. So all that really does is make the NFC West even a little bit more potent, and those games that we're going to have against these NFC West teams, first one coming up in week 4, second one coming up in week 5, that we're going to see some really good stuff coming up, and we're going to get some good games. When the NFC West plays the NFC West, that's going to be some good football to watch. But they were able to take it to them, and Derrick Henry had a rough day. They just seemed to Arizona was just all over him. Really, it was just a good day for the Arizona Cardinals, bad day for the Tennessee Titans. The Arizona Cardinals will host the Minnesota Vikings, so their home opener. San Francisco has yet to play at home. They won't this weekend. But the Arizona Cardinals will host the Minnesota Vikings. That game will be played at 1:05 p.m. on Fox. We will be sharing the distribution map here after this break into the game preview, and I may give colors for that one. I'm not sure if I have them, but I do know that the Rams are in the green. And you guys can also check the Rams Showcase social media pages for that distribution map as well, but we'll just have it on the screen here if you just give me just a minute. But, Minnesota, I think that they are, I just don't know if they're that good of a team this year, So I think that the Arizona Cardinals are in a good spot to walk away 2-0. And honestly, I mean, we got Tennessee, Philadelphia, Minnesota, and Indianapolis as the NFC West opponents. I think that this is an 8-0 kind of situation at the end of week 2 for the NFC West. So, feel free to let me know your predictions below as well. But I think that all 4 NFC West teams are better than the opponents they're playing this week. So make sure you guys drop your predictions here. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and hop into a quick break here. And on the other side, we got the game preview. Rams at Colts. Don't go anywhere. What's up, Rams fans? I'm Sheriff Joe Bags, and you need to know about Shaw's Customs. Custom vinyl decals are the best way to show all the other cars in traffic what you are most passionate about. Deals on vinyl packs right now with 7 different logos in yellow, white, or blue. Custom shot glasses and beer mugs for brewskis with the broskies. That's not all. No way. Superhero and political decals also available. Visit the link in the description and check it out for yourself. Tell Josh that Sheriff Joe Bag sent you. You won't get a deal, but he'll get a kick out of it. Shaw's Customs. So we got the Los Angeles Rams at the Indianapolis Colts this week. But first, I need to tell you guys about BetUS, which is exactly where you need to be going. You can pull out your phone and be doing this. BetUS.com, BETUS.com. The NFL season is here. And if you are looking for a sports book, you want to put some dollar bills on the LA Rams to get some dubs, the BetUS is exactly where you need to be. Promo code is RamsShowcase. And you can put that in while you're depositing your cash there, and you get a 125% bonus. That's right, 125% bonus. If you guys are using crypto, you could use promo code RamsShowcase200, get a 200% bonus. NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, golf, all of it, all right? It's good stuff. You can do the live betting too. You can get the parlays going, which is always what I'm about. I'm about the parlays, trying to string some things together and make the big bucks, all right? So just looking at here right now, going through my profile here, because I am, of course, signed up with BetUS. Rams for the first touchdown, for the first scoring play of the day is plus 135. Rams field goal plus 300. That's some good stuff right there. If I like either of those, I feel pretty good about, all right, because this Rams defense, pretty freaking strong, all right? Rams offense also pretty awesome. So make sure you guys head over there. Link will be in the description below. You also get a bonus on the casino games as well, which is really cool stuff. If you guys are all about that, the gambling, putting the money where the mouth is, BetUS is exactly where you need to go. So you can follow my lead, Sheriff Joe Bags over here. Get out your phone, go to betus.com. That's betus.com. Get involved with a sports book known for its integrity and longevity, like I did. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS. If that is not what you're about here, you're more of a daily fantasy kind of guy, then we got good news for you too, because Thrive Fantasy, they use the prop bets for the points totaling up. And that's awesome stuff, because fantasy football, I'm not about fantasy football, all right? But prop bets, I can get into that, all right? I can get into the prop bets. Is Robert Woods going to go over under 77? You tell me, all right? Depending on how those odds are, there will be a point total based on that. And then you select the 10 of the top 20 available players, and then each prop is assigned a fantasy value for the over and under, depending on how likely it is to happen. And you can get your you just rack up those points that way, and then you can also get your first deposit matched up to 100%. So if you put in, or up to $100, 100% match on that. So if you put in $50, boom, you got $100 in there. You put in $100, boom, you got $200 in there, and you guys can get started. Promo code is RamsShowcase, link as well in the description below. And you can download the app through the App Store or the Play Store. You could go to thrivefantasy.com, sign up, and prop up today. And that one's really cool. We're gonna get some. I'm hearing some rumblings that we're gonna get some cool Rams related stuff going on that here shortly. So I just need you guys to go there, go do the thing, and then we can battle it out. All right. If you guys want to battle me out with these in Thrive Fantasy, let me know and let's do this, man. Let's do this. All right, but let's talk about this game that we have on Sunday. This is going to be some good stuff. We got the LA Rams, who sit at 1-0 at the Indianapolis Colts, who did lose to the Seattle Seahawks, so they sit at 0-1. This game will be played at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Fox. The distribution map is up on your screen for you video viewers there. The Rams will be shown in the green areas, so kind of sporadic, kind of all over the place. And keep in mind that this distribution map can be changed and altered slightly as the week goes on, depending on a couple of different things. Me out here in Colorado, we get TB on TV, and that's Tampa Bay or Tom Brady, depending on how you want to translate TB. But that will be on my screen out here, so I will be at the bar listening to Kenny, Albert, and Jonathan Vilma, who will be on the call for this one. But that game, again, on Fox at 10 o'clock Pacific time. That's 11 o'clock Joe time, 1 o'clock for you guys way out there on the east side of the country. But let's take a look at some game notes here. The Colts did lose last week to the Seattle Seahawks, 28-16. Carson Wentz went 25 of 38, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He did get sacked 3 times, did lose a fumble. Jonathan Taylor at running back had 17 carries for 56 yards, no tutties, and had also 6 receptions for 60 yards. So that's actually, you know what, that plays into their game plan against the Rams. If the Rams are going to run a similar style defense to what they did last week, that Jonathan Taylor might be biting us a little bit here in the butt because, you know, giving up that much room here. Jonathan Taylor, I mean, he's a pretty shifty guy. They also got running backs. I mean, I've been a fan of Nyheim Hines for a while. They really like him out there. He's not necessarily like this huge name guy, but I really like the way that he plays. But they've got running backs here that will do a good job if we allow them to. So if we treat them like we treated the Chicago Bears, there could be some space for Taylor to get out there and make some moves and maybe break some ankles here. Maybe not, though, all right? Because the Rams defense is also extremely strong. But that, what is that? The 60 plus 56 here, so that's like, what, 116 yards? I mean, that's pretty solid for him, his first game. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on there. And if the Rams defense, like I said, if they play that same style as they played against the Chicago Bears, Jonathan Taylor might give us a little bit of trouble. So that's something to watch out for. What the Rams will not need to watch out for is wide receiver T.Y. Hilton, as he is, of course, still on IR. You can't just come back after 1 week, so the Rams will not see him. That, I think, will allow for us to continue to utilize cornerback Jalen Ramsey, how we saw him utilized in week 1, which is exactly what we expected to see. Him just kind of moving all over the place. He's coming in on blitzes. He played an amazing game, too. I mean, he was all over the place. He was strong. He was making some great tackles out there, pushing through offensive linemen. It was awesome stuff to see, for sure. But he's not going to need to shadow T.Y. Hilton, as he will not be there. But, you know, Paris Campbell's very good. Pittman's very good. They've got, who was the one that scored the touchdowns there? Pascal. He scored 2 touchdowns. He caught both of Carson Wentz's touchdown passes. So, I mean, the Rams still definitely do have some coverage they need to worry about out here. But T.Y., of course, I mean, he's a great player in this NFL. So him not being out there, I mean, it doesn't hurt my feelings at all. Let's take a look at the matchup of this one. We'll start with the Rams offense versus the Colts defense here. And as you can see on your screen, the Rams offense, I mean, definitely, could have put up a little bit more, especially on the ground game there. Only 74 rushing yards. Did a great job through the air, but that 74 yards on the ground is definitely pulling down their average. They're below the average NFL team, or at least in the bottom half right now in terms of offense, but 5th in points, that's absolutely huge. And then the Colts defense did look pretty decent against the pass. They only gave up 241 to the Seattle Seahawks. They ranked 13th there, 14th in total defense there. So they're a little bit higher than what the Rams ranked there. But they did give up a lot of running yards. So you see that 140 on your screen. That is something that I think that the Rams could exploit, especially this week. It kind of just felt like the Rams I mean, Sean McVay talked about it, that it's just the way the game was flowing, that it didn't work out to get the ground game going early on, and I kind of agree with that. It didn't really feel like at any point in like the first half that it's like, if we don't get this ground game going, we're not going to do good, man. Like, it felt fine. We felt okay. Of course, you do want to see more ground, like you want to see more ground yards, especially early on. You want to be able to open that up for the second half, but I think the way that it worked out with the Rams is everybody kind of seemed to settle down a little bit. That run blocking seemed a little bit chaotic in the first half. Everybody seemed to settle down, and then we're really able to get the ground game going in the fourth quarter, which was, I mean, fine, because we were able to close out the game that way. Darrell Henderson was running real strong, though, had some good moves out there. And so, but with the Colts defense giving up the 140, I think that is something that the Rams could be able to try to implement a little bit earlier in the game plan. And we also did hear from McVay that he does want to get Michel a little bit more carries than he did last week. And he also wants to get Jake Funk some offensive playing time as well. So that's something to keep an eye on. The questions that we have for this matchup, Rams offense versus Colts defense, is it can the Rams get the ground game going? That is the ultimate question here. We need to see that earlier on. Of course, it worked out. The Rams won the game by 20 points, but we would like to see that earlier on and open that up, because in a situation, I mean, we play the Bears, who are not known for their firepower, so we're going to have games where we're going to need those fourth quarter scores. And if the other team is just knowing that we're going to pass it and we have no run threat at all, that could be a problem. There's some really good teams on the Rams schedule coming up here and need to be able to do that. And then how will Stafford follow up his week 1 performance? Winner of the game badge, as well as NFC Offensive Player of the Week. So that's some really good stuff there. But, I mean, will he be able to keep that going? The Colts defense, I thought that they were going to play a little bit better against the Seahawks. Seahawks, of course, do have some good weapons there. And Russell Wilson's a very, very talented player. So, the Colts defense did surprise me just a little bit there with Darius Leonard, awesome player. So I'm curious to see, is Stafford going to keep that up? Is the Colts defense going to look better than they did in week 1? We'll have to wait and see. Let's go to the other side of the football here. This is the Colts offense versus the Rams defense. Rams starting the season with a top 10 defense, giving up the 350 in total yards. The Colts offense ranks 22nd. The Rams pass defense looking awesome, but of course, I'm not going to put too much in stopping Andy Dalton with the Chicago Bears. That's not necessarily going against Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and those guys. So we'll watch that one as it continues. But Colts offense with Carson Wentz didn't necessarily put up a whole lot of passing yards. And then on the ground, of course, the Rams did give up 134, so that is something that we'll be watching closely. Will that Rams defense, run defense, will that be changing at all? And then giving up just the 14 points, the Colts only put up the 16. So all signs point to this game really should be like a 15 to 31 victory for the Rams if you're looking at just averages, but that's also averages on one game. So it's not real averages yet. We don't 100% know. So the questions that we're asking for this one is, will the Rams defense step up some more? We need to see it. We need to be able to not just let teams run on us, even though it did look like that's what we just let them do, the Chicago Bears, that is. And then how will the Rams pressure Carson Wentz? What are they going to do to mix that up a little bit? Because Carson Wentz, he is a guy that is almost similar to Jared Goff in that sense, that if you can get some pressure on him, if you can get to him, you can create fumbles. All right, so that is something I'm going to be looking out for. This offensive line, though, for the Colts, much better than the Bears' offensive line. Quentin Nelson, I mean, obviously, we've heard the stories in the offseason that he was having that surgery and stuff like that. He's good to go. He is going to be out there. And we will see him against Aaron Donald. So, one of the better offensive linemen in Nelson going against probably the best defender in the NFL. According to a lot of sources, that is the case, that they'll be going head to head pretty often here. So that's going to be fun, man. It's going to be really fun to watch, to see not only Aaron Donald go against a really strong offensive line, but also this Rams secondary, Jalen Ramsey and company, going against some really talented wide receivers, even without T.Y. Hilton back there. Let's take a look back at the 3 to see that we had last week. Jalen Ramsey led the team in tackles with 9 total and was all over the place. Played real strong, played super physical, looked like he was ready to hit people. He was ready to tackle. He was playing some great ball. So Jalen Ramsey did an amazing job in week 1. Aaron Donald, I don't want to call it rust, but there was definitely some sacks that were left off the table or left off the stat sheet, I should say, and a couple of tackles as well. Mainly just one that I'm thinking of. It was a touchdown for the Bears. And then he was able to pull off that sack late, and it almost looked like he was getting stronger as the game went on. I don't know if he was getting stronger as the game went on, or if the Bears were getting more tired as the game went on, because both of those things do factor in. That's why that endurance, be it the stamina to make it through the full game, is such a big deal, because other guys maybe not are not up there as far as that goes, that endurance, that stamina goes. So that's really in the fourth quarter. If you can still be good, then that's when you can create an impact. And then our final one for the 3 to see last week was Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. Kupp had 7 catches for 108 yards and a touchdown. Woods had 3 catches for 27 yards and a touchdown, so a lot less yards for Woods, but his touchdown was super crispy, guys. That toe tap was nice. Stafford was getting everybody involved. Jefferson's 2 catches were huge, but you could already tell that the confidence that Stafford has in both Kupp and Woods is very real. And also Higbee, for that matter. I mean, I don't want to leave out Tyler Higbee here, but you could tell that the comfort level is already there. But also it seems to be, I mean, Van Jefferson might be somebody that we actually see a lot this year. Last year we kept hearing it, Van Jefferson, but we barely saw him out there. So this year it does look like that's going to be the case. Tutu Atwell, like I said, barely got any snaps out there, so I do anticipate that kind of being the trend, at least for like probably the first half of the season. We probably won't see a lot of Tutu back there. Let's take a look at the 3 to see for the Rams at the Colts, though. We're putting Jalen Ramsey back on this list because he played that freaking well. Jalen Ramsey had an awesome week 1 with T.Y. Hilton being out. We should see similar situation in week 2 than we did in week 1, where we just see him all over the place, different roles, playing outside, playing inside, coming in on blitzes, all that stuff. We should see it again. And, he's also had 1 game of playing in this expanded role. So I do think that in time, I mean, the way that humans work is the more you do something, the more comfortable you get with it and the better you get at it, the less you have to think about stuff. And this is the first time that Jalen Ramsey's been doing this kind of role in his NFL career. So I only think he's going to get better. And I think that Jalen Ramsey is kind of proving right now he is one of the better defenders in the NFL, based on even just that week 1 and the presence that he was able to have on some of those tackles, and his impact was definitely felt. Even that Justin Fields catch, his very first pass that got completed, I mean, Ramsey picked the dude up and had him up for a while and then threw him to the ground and stuff. So, I mean, Jalen played really, really strong last week. Next one here, I'm going to go with Darrell Henderson. Hendo didn't get it going until late in the game in week 1, but with this Colts defense, we will likely need to get the run game going early on to ease that pass rush. The Colts do have a pretty strong pass rush. And they've got some players there on the front 7 there that can make an impact on this on Matthew Stafford. Hendo was looking strong at the end, but that first half was pretty rough, honestly. I do expect to see more of a ground attack in the first half this week. I do anticipate that being a little bit of a point of emphasis of getting the ground game going, even if it's not necessarily working, still going to it. Darrell Henderson there for a little bit had a under 1 yard average. So, and then was able to break it out really in the second half. And then my final one in the 3 to see is going to be Justin Hollins. Hollins popped in week 1, had an awesome game, and was in the conversation for week 1 game badge. I'll be honest, I almost put him in there, but I couldn't pass up going to Matthew Stafford. Just the game that he had and the excitement that he kind of brought in with his first start as a Ram. I had to go with him, of course. But I get a feeling that Hollins might walk away with at least 1 game badge this season. 2 sacks, 8 total tackles last week, and didn't appear that he was just the beneficiary of having Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd. He looked like he was kicking butt cheeks no matter who was next to him, all right? He was winning his one-on-ones. It wasn't just like he was getting blown off because people were trying to block Donald and Floyd. He was winning his battles, and that's something you want to see. So that is going to be your game preview, the Colts at the Rams. Feel free to drop some comments about it. If you guys have questions and they're not necessarily QUESOS, let's just have a conversation in the comment section, man. I'm here for it. Let's do some good stuff, and then we'll also be going live again on YouTube and Facebook. We were able to figure that out, how to do it through my cell phone, and so we'll be doing that again as well. We'll just kind of hang out, kick it, talk some Rams ball, heading up to the game. And yeah, this will be an early game too. So I know for you guys out there in LA, it'll be like probably about 9:15, 9:30 that we'll hop on there. So come and join me, man. Talk some Rams ball. But let's go ahead and hop into some fan quesos. We do have a good chunk of them here. We do have, like I said, we got a bunch of fan quesos. So let's go ahead and hop into them. I'm going to pull them up here for you guys. All right. This first one here comes from Cody. How many points do we blow out the Colts by? You know, the line in this game is about that 4.5. I think that we cover that. So I'm feeling a good double-digit win here for the Rams. I think that the Rams are a better team than the Seahawks. And I think the Seahawks were just so efficient against the Colts. They didn't really have an answer for it. So I think that the Rams' offensive line's better. And I just like what we're able. I like the Rams. Okay, I like the Rams in the NFC West. I think that we're probably the best team in the division right now. Pretty explosive. So I think that we'll be able to do that efficiency like Seattle did. But I also think we'll have those pop plays as well. One here comes from Jason. What percentage of the playbook do you think we showed on Sunday? Not a lot. I mean, we didn't see like the jet sweep stuff. We just saw it kind of stretched out a little bit more than we did last year. I mean, if I had to give a percentage of our actual playbook that we saw, probably like 10%. I mean, it's the playbook is expansive. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different moving pieces that go into it. In one game, you're never going to see 100% of a playbook. That would be insane. But yeah, I think we saw a little bit more of what the Rams are going to want to be doing this season, which is stretching the field. But we didn't try to hit it horizontal like we have in the past of trying to create that space and then using that space to cut up. You know, we just kind of we're launching it around and letting Stafford do his thing. Gary's question, how many snaps does Sony get this week? I think that he sits a little bit closer to that 7, 8, 9 range. I don't know if he hits the double digits, but I do think we try to ease him in there a little bit more. And I do think he gets in there a little bit more for Henderson than he did last week. The percentages were pretty skewed. I want to say that Henderson was like 94%. I don't have it at the top of my brain here, but yeah, he was definitely high up there. And Michelle, I think will start to, as the season goes on, like I think we'll see more and more carries for him as the season goes on, and then we'll see it plateau, and that'll be like when we know this is where he's at. Like this is how many times we want to use Sony Michel in a game, and I think we see Jake Funk as well in this one. From Jason again, with Indy having a better O-line than the Bears, do you think we'll struggle getting pressure? You know, yeah, that's a good point, that they do have a better offensive line than the Chicago Bears, but also, I mean, I feel like that game was a good one to knock off some rust a little bit. I think that the Rams were, well, we could see that there was a little bit of struggles there. Even you could see in Aaron Donald, there was a couple times where he had some trouble getting off some blocks. So, for that reason, I think that yeah, we're playing a better offensive line, but we're also getting that rust off a little bit, getting a little bit into the groove here, and I do think that the Rams will be able to get some pressure, especially on Carson Wentz, who seems to be not the perfect guy to have in your backfield when you're trying to not give up too many sacks. I mean, he takes sacks. So I think we'll be able to generate that pressure. Jason's next question, for my fantasy team, should I play Henderson? Just kidding. Follow your heart, bro. Follow your heart. But sure, play him. How do you think the O-line played? I was worried about our running game for over 3 quarters. Yeah, it looked a little sloppy for those first 3 quarters, but overall, the pass blocking for those Rams offensive line looked awesome. I think they did such a good job, and did give up the 1 sack there, but I mean, looking at that play over again, you could tell Stafford probably could have hit Henderson on that one, so it didn't necessarily need to be a sack. So hard to put that one all on the offensive line. But I'm not necessarily worried about our offensive line. Still one of the better ones in the NFL. I think that that's another situation, and I hate to give the excuse, but I mean, the Rams got to get it going early on. So that's all. Next one here from Jesse. What do you think about the game plan for Ramsey being sort of a hybrid cornerback? I kind of like it. I think he was able to generate some really nice pressure, and the way that he was able to impact the plays. I mean, and I like it too because the quarterback has to find him every play, So that's a plus when the quarterback's out there and he's like, I gotta find Jalen. You know what I mean? That's a benefit for the Rams when you have 2 guys on the defense where that's initially you come up to the line and the quarterback needs to spot them. So no, I like it a lot actually, man. Next one here is from Stevie. What do you think about our run defense? I'm a little worried. I want to be worried because we did give up a lot of running yards, but it doesn't feel like we tried to stop the run. Like, it just doesn't feel like there's times where we're sitting with a 5-man box, 6-man box. We're basically just letting them know, hey, if you guys want to run the football, you can. Just don't throw it on us, okay? I mean, I'm not going to be worried about our run defense until this becomes a trend, and I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's something that's going to continue. Lance, the herd has ranked the Rams as number 1 going into week 2. Do you feel this is accurate? Will they continue to win? Do I feel it's accurate? I mean, the Rams are one of the better teams in the NFL. Are they the best? Maybe. I mean, the biggest question mark is Matthew Stafford going to be that guy? And so far, yeah, he is. So, I mean, hard to disagree with it. The Rams played a heck of a game. You know, they did give up a lot of running yards, but again, they didn't really try to stop the run. I mean, that sounds like an excuse or something like that, but I mean, the Rams, I mean, they didn't. They weren't stacking it up and just saying like Montgomery's not beating us. So, yeah, will they continue to win? I mean, this week got the Colts. Next week got the Bucks. After that, I believe it's the Cardinals, or is it the Seahawks? And then I think it might be Cardinals Seahawks after that. So, we were talking about it on the NFC West roundtable. If you guys want to check that out, link will be in the description below. So make sure you guys check that out. But yeah, will they continue to win? Of course, bro. Duh. Dumb question. Next one here comes from Ryan. I remember you saying that you didn't care for Rapp. Do you think he played better this past game? Yeah, I do. He did play a lot better than I've seen him play in week 1, but I'm not ready to say that I was wrong about Rapp or anything like that. I do want to see him continue to get better. He's still, in my opinion, like he's just that. He's very good. He's good. He's a good player. I want to see him bump that up a little bit. I thought that he would be better by now, and I think that that's my gripe, is that I thought that he would progress a little bit faster, and I just haven't really seen it that much. But yeah, he did play a solid game in week 1, and I would like to see that continue. Actually, guys, give me just 1 second here. I'm going to go do something real fast. I'll be right back. Thanks for holding. Next question here comes from Cody. How loud do I have to yell at the game on Sunday to give a Rams a home field advantage? I mean, probably pretty loud, but I also know there's a lot of Rams fans going to this game, and I keep seeing the posts about Rams fans that are like, hey, I'm gonna be here. Who's going? And stuff like that. So, yeah, man, I think that the Rams will have a presence there. I think that it'll be felt a little bit. I don't know how much, but, you know, just keep yelling, man. If you yell Sheriff Joe Bags, maybe I'll be able to hear you, man. Next one here comes from Nick. Thoughts on Henderson and the Rams running game? Not concerned yet. I mean, it's one game, and like Sean McVay said, it just wasn't really going with the game flow to get it going in the first half. But we did see it really kick off in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. We really saw it get going. So I'm not ready to say that, I mean, the Rams run game is weak or anything like that yet, because we ultimately just don't know yet. But I think Henderson is going to continue to build on that performance, and I think that we see him continue to get better as these next couple games roll out, because you know, I mean, it's always tough when you haven't seen any game action and you're just thrown into it. It's always tough. Next one here from Ben. Do the Rams have a home field advantage? Yes, they do, which is awesome, because I mean, I think it was Rich Eisen that said this is the most of a Rams home field advantage that the LA Rams have ever had. And that's going back to before St. Louis and stuff like that, that this is now a true home field advantage that the Rams have, and it's unlike anything that they've had in the past. So, hey man, that's pretty sweet. Can't wait for December 5th, Jaguars at Rams. I'll be there, part of that home field advantage, helping our boys bring back the dub. Nick's question here is, why do you call them QUESOS? What's the story behind that? Yeah, quick version of the story, man, is we had one of my hardcore listeners who actually followed me when I was just writing about the Rams on truelovesports.com, and Kyle Swanson, and he was one of my biggest supporters. Great dude. And when I started the podcast and I was doing fan questions, he would always ask me a random question of, you know, what's this player's favorite cheese? What's Todd Gurley's favorite cheese? What's Aaron Donald's favorite cheese? What's Johnny Hecker's favorite cheese? Jeff Fisher, stuff like that. And I would just answer those questions. And then, unfortunately, I mean, I will not give details, but unfortunately, Kyle is no longer with us. And so I felt like because he was such a hardcore supporter of mine, I don't think I've seen anybody that supported my content like he ever did. And I'm not saying that there's not supporters out there, because I do love you guys from the bottom of my heart. But what Kyle, how he supported me, I mean, it was great, man. He it's almost like he worked for Rams Showcase or something like that. That's how much he like promoted and stuff like that. It was just really, really cool. So, after he passed away, I wanted to try to find some kind of way to honor him. I didn't know how to do it. So, him being a massive Rams fan, like myself, and him asking those cheese questions, I was like, well, what can I do? So I changed the name of the fan questions to fan QUESOS, because it does start with that QUE. Well, QUES, I guess, is what it starts with. But yes, that's the genesis of the name of fan QUESOS. That'll always be in honor of Kyle, who was definitely my biggest supporter at the beginning of all this. I think he had to be my first play on my very first podcast. I don't see why he wouldn't have been. He was such a big supporter, always had my back on everything. So yeah, man, it goes. It's for Kyle. That's why we call it the fan QUESOS, and definitely know that he's watching those games from wherever he is at, and definitely still supporting the LA Rams. And I like to think that he's watching them with me, because, yeah, man, Kyle was awesome, man. Next one here's from Jeff. Why do you think they had cutback there on punts? I know it was only one, but he can't be our first choice for that role. I don't know if he's the first choice or not, but, I mean, he's a good player, and I don't like seeing him back there myself, but why do I think he's back there? Is because we know he can do it. Deshaun Jackson is an option there, but his injury history kind of is worrisome. Tutu, I think, will eventually take over that role. I do think it's because he's a rookie that he's not there yet. Next one here from Jeff as well. What do you think the chance will be that all 4 teams in the NFC West will be undefeated going into Week 4? Week 4, we do see 2 NFC West versus NFC West matchups, so we're going to get some losses in Week 4. But, actually, let me pull up the schedule real fast for Week 3, because we do know the Week 2 schedule already, and I have already selected the entire NFC West to be winning in Week 2, but in Week 3, the LA Rams do host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That will be a tough game. Of course, the Buccaneers are a very good team right now. The Arizona Cardinals are at the Jacksonville Jaguars. That could be a win. The Seattle Seahawks are at the Minnesota Vikings. I am not sold on the Vikings at all this year. And then the 49ers on Sunday Night Football hosting the Green Bay Packers in what will be the 49ers home opener. So that's going to be a tough game. Don't put too much into Week 1, how that went for the Green Bay Packers. They're still a heck of a football team. They're going to come back around. They're going to be fine. I think that the Saints just kind of caught them on one of those days. It just kind of felt like that, because the Saints, the way that those Saints played the Packers, it didn't look like they were necessarily just like all over them, unstoppable, anything like that. So I'm not completely sold that that the Packers are just done now after that one. So let's see here. Next one's here coming from the YouTube channel. This one comes from Dominic. How many yards does Stafford have this year? You know what? He hit the 3. What was the official number here? 321. That's right. For Week 1. So I mean, he's on pace to do a pretty good job. I think that he could be the Rams franchise first ever 5K passer. I think that could be a real thing. I would like to. I've been saying like the 49.70 is really like the range that I've put him at, but I think he can hit that 5K. Next one here is going to come from Rams House. Do you like the defensive scheme that we have this year? I know that the Rams are begging the opposing side to run. This way, we beg them to run, and we don't give up the explosive play. But I feel like this tires out our defense for staying on the field long. Thoughts? No, I don't know if that's just how we play defense. I think that we'll see the personality of the Rams defense alter depending on who the opponent is. So I think that will be important. I think that we just made it clear that Andy Dalton was not going to score more points than Matthew Stafford. And we knew that they weren't going to run the ball to match our offense. So that's kind of what it felt like to me. I don't know if that's just how we play defense this year, is just let them run. But I like our defense. And hey, if the bend but don't break style is what we want to go with this year, I think, it worked out so well so far. So, hey, hard to complain. Next one here from Rams House. When it comes to Jalen Ramsey playing all over the field, how do you feel about that? Sure, he's making plays all over, but But will it come back to bite us sometime when he isn't lined up on the number one receiver? We already saw that last year with him not being on like Devontae Adams for a play, or one time we were playing the Bucks and Mike Evans he had Darius Williams on him and scored a touchdown. So we've already seen it happen. But if you just put Jalen on the number one receiver, you're kind of limiting him a little bit. And you also, Darius Williams is a very good player, and you gotta mix it up a little bit. So I like it. I like what the Rams are doing, especially I was a little bit worried about it, and kind of because of what you said, like if they have a true number one, why isn't Jalen Ramsey just on that guy? But the way that Ramsey played in week one, I think that he's getting more use this way than if we just put him and just shadow the number one receiver. So I'm actually all about how this is working out. And here from Rams House again, favorite play from Rams versus Bears. Ooh, I should have thought about this one, man. You know what? I'll actually say the touchdown pass to Robert Woods there near the end, where Stafford was getting some pressure, kind of stepped up, kind of avoided it a little bit, threw it maybe a little bit high, but hey, it still counted, so who cares? And then Bobby Tree's able to get both of those feet down. The celebration was perfect. He goes, slams the ball down right where he tapped his toes and stuff. That was pretty sweet. So yeah, I think that was my favorite play, and I could not kick it from my brain. That like in my brain, I could not get it out. Where it's like, if that was Jared Goff, that's probably a fumble, man. Like, and instead it's a touchdown. That's the difference between Goff and Stafford. You know what I mean? Like that specific play is the difference, because who knows how that goes with Goff. Maybe he does throw a touchdown too. I have no idea. Well, we'll never know. But that play right there was the play that I felt like is like, okay, this is going to work. Like we got this. Like this season's going to be good. I think next season's going to be better. I still feel that way. So yeah, man, that's got to be my favorite play. Still deciding, should I get a Bobby Trees jersey or a Jalen Ramsey jersey? You know what, guys? I think I need your help on this one as well. I think that we should vote on this one to see which jersey Rams House needs to get. I have my opinion here. I think it's Bobby Trees, man, because Rams House, if you guys watch his content, first of all, if you're not, shame on you, and then go over there right now and subscribe, Rams House, okay? And then let him know, or you can also watch his videos talk about Bobby Trees. He wears Bobby Trees shirt a lot, all right? So I think it just makes sense. You go with the Bobby Trees, that number 2. I don't know if you want to go with the white, the blue, or the bone, but those whites are clean, dude. Those whites are so clean, man. It was awesome. Actually, we were watching the game up at the B Street Ram Cave, and my buddy Aaron had his Bobby Trees, that white jersey on, and I was rocking my white Stafford this week. I don't really wear jerseys that often, but hey, it was opener, brand new quarterback, brand new uniform. It felt right. It was prime time, of course. It just felt right. I had to do it. So I'm going to go with Trees. If you guys have input, drop it below. When Aaron Donald retires, if he retires, will the Rams retire his number? Ooh, that's a good one, actually. He's a robot, so I don't know if he needs to retire. That's one that very well could be a thing, because he could retire right now, and I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, so he's had that kind of impact on the league. I think that he's done such an incredible job. One of the better defenders that this NFL has ever seen, man. He's working his way into like being a defensive Mount Rushmore guy. If he's not there already, he's incredible. So, that's definitely one that's it's possible for retiring of the number. Next one here comes from Dominic. Do you think Stafford beats the longest touchdown pass in franchise history record of 94 yards? Which was, I believe, that Goff pass, right? If I'm not mistaken, to Woods against the Texans when Rob Havenstein held the hell out of J.J. Watt. But it wasn't called, so it doesn't matter. Hopefully we're not that far back very often, man. So hopefully we don't see that happen, because I don't want to be back at the 5-yard line. How about we just get those 70 yards, the 67-yarders again? How about we just keep doing that? Next one here from Rams House. Rams House is rating the comments. Yes, you are. That's fine though. What's the deal with the PR and KR? Thought Tutu might start in that role. Yeah, I think Tutu will eventually take over that role. I think it's because he's a rookie. Just being young, I think we'll work him into that as the season goes on. I'm not too worried about it right now though. And also, if we're just getting interceptions and stuff and stopping people on 4th down, we don't need punts. So we don't need to do the punt returner. How many touchdown passes do you think Stafford will have this year? 100. I put him. I'm gonna guess about 38. I think that's what I've said before. How many 50-yard bombs do we see this year? We've already seen the 2, and that's amazing, man. If we're going to average this, we're looking at, 34? So I don't think we see that many. But, hey, man, if we can get up to double digits with that, man, that would be fuego. The fuegness. Next one here from Dominic. Do you think we'll beat the Bucs? I do think we'll beat the Bucs. We're at home. We beat them last year. I think we're a damn good football team, and I think that we're definitely better than the Dallas Cowboys, who gave them quite a fit in Tampa Bay. So I think that is something that the Rams will be able to do. I think that we can hit it pretty hard, and I do think we beat the Bucs. The Tampa, Brady, Gronkaneers. Next one here from Dominic. Who do you think we play in the Super Bowl this year? I like that question. My pick has kind of been Bills. Their week one, I don't want to overreact to week one, but I thought that they were going to look a lot better. I'll tell you that much. I thought the Chiefs were going to look better. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and say, because everybody's saying Rams Bills, that seems to be pretty common. Everybody's saying Rams Chiefs. Everybody is like we need the game of 2018, but they're such different teams now. I mean, our team is extremely different from that 2018 game, so I wouldn't say it's like a sequel to that or anything. But who do I think will play in the Super Bowl? Let's go with the Cleveland Browns, man. Let's do it. Could you imagine a Browns-Rams Super Bowl? Could you imagine saying that the Browns and Rams are going to play in a Super Bowl in 2009? If in 2009 you were like, the Rams and Browns are going to play in a Super Bowl in 2021. I don't know why that's your voice for it, but either way, it's nobody would believe you. I know that much. But hey, it's all good. And last question here comes from Rams House. What is Cooper Kupp's favorite beverage? Oh, that's a tough one. I should have thought about this one. Oof. Okay, let's see. Hold on. What does he like to drink here? I should have had something prepared. I don't have anything prepared. Let's see. His name is Cooper Kupp. We have the dog, Cooper Pup. Okay, I'm gonna say with Cooper Kupp, he's a little bit of an eccentric guy, all right? So we've seen him in those like the uniform stuff when he's out there like playing basketball and like checking the fridge and stuff like that. I'm gonna say, and I don't know if this will make any sense at all, but he's a touch eccentric, but he's also like very adamant about being an athlete, and he's super athletic and stuff like that. Got cool hair, not as cool as Les Snead. Cool hair though. He's rocking a beard now. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Cooper Kupp's favorite beverage is the cucumber lime Gatorade, which if you don't like, then I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. I can't be mean about it. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. I love it. I think it's awesome. I think it's the quench is real there, man. If you're super thirsty, that's going to quench you. All right. And Cooper Kupp, he knows about it too. That is it for our fan cases. Make sure you guys drop yours. I dropped the post on Wednesdays, so you can drop your comments there to ask me a fan case. So we did go a little bit over there, but I don't even care because we're talking LA Rams football, which is always a good time. We also will be rocking out some other shorter videos. It will be more game preview stuff. Looks like I'm going to shoot for Saturdays on those. And then also got some other stuff. I don't know if I'm allowed to announce it yet, so I'm not going to. Some other stuff in some other places that we got going on. Little branches of Rams Showcase, little shorter condensed episodes that we'll be doing that will be posted elsewhere, though. Not here. It'll be... I can't say yet. I can't say it yet because I'm not there yet. But we will definitely be doing that super soon, for sure. Probably this week is when we'll see that as well. And links will be provided on the Rams Showcase social media pages. So definitely stop in there and check it out. But thank you guys so much for dropping those cases. I do appreciate you guys. We got the Rams and the Colts this weekend. It's going to be awesome. We got Carson Wentz playing against Carson Wentz. He's not even an Eagle anymore. I almost forgot where he got drafted, but he was almost a Ram. It didn't happen. He did go to the Philadelphia Eagles. We took Goff. We traded Goff for Matthew Stafford, and now Stafford and Wentz, Rams, Colts. We didn't expect that to happen, all right? No T.Y. Hilton. Look out for Paris Campbell and Pascal, and look out for Pittman and Jonathan Taylor. We got a good team that the Rams are going against in Indianapolis, but the Rams also a pretty good football team. If you guys haven't heard, these Rams play the football very well. But that is going to do it for me. Make sure you guys follow the Rams Showcase on all your favorite social media. That's at Rams Showcase on Instagram and Twitter. Facebook.com/Rams Showcase. You can follow myself as well at Sheriff Joe Bags on Instagram and Twitter. Facebook.com/Sheriff Joe Bags. Pretty simple stuff there. We got Rams Colts this weekend. Make sure you guys enjoy it. It's going to be an absolute blast. We'll go live before the game that kicks off at 10 o'clock on Fox. Make sure you guys check the distribution map on the Rams Showcase social media. But that is going to do it for me. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This has been Rams Showcase on Sports War Radio. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you who are Rams fans, thank you guys so much for listening, and you guys have a great night.